All right, the next question, is vegetarianism a requirement for mitras, or in order to become a mitra and order member? As to the best of my knowledge, it has never been an explicit requirement, vegetarianism. But the fact is that most order members, nearly all order members, are vegetarians. Some are vegans, and I think quite a lot of mitras are vegetarians or become vegetarians. I wouldn't personally, and this is expressing a personal opinion, I wouldn't personally think that it was necessary to require someone to be a mitra before they could, to be a vegetarian before they could become a mitra. But I think I'd be a bit surprised if someone who was thinking in terms of being a mitra was also at least thinking in terms of vegetarianism and moving in that direction. But I doubt if we should expect, who are thinking of asking to be mitras, to necessarily be vegetarians. Anyone got any comments on that?
There are some people who do hard physical labor and who feel that being entirely vegetarian would sort of weaken them.
Or showed them a good example yourself. Let them look around at order members who are vegetarians. Hopefully we're not in a worse state than people out there in the world who are great meat eaters. Also, because if people are afraid of vegetarianism or vegetarian cooking or food, let's say, well, invite them on a retreat, even for a week. Let them see how good it can be. But also that means pay attention to the cooking. Because sometimes in the old days, I remember in England certainly, vegetarian cooking was pretty awful. It's much better now. I mean in the world generally, in society generally. So if you do have a retreat and you know that there are people who don't normally eat vegetarian food, be extra careful to make the food interesting and attractive. I think that's very important. I think the popularity of Pavloka has increased over the years as we've had better cooks there. I think one can't despise the stomach. We don't want any dualism creeping in, do we? Good, well cooked, balanced, nutritious vegetarian food. And I have known people come on retreat and enjoyed the vegetarian food and say after all they hadn't realized that eating vegetarian could be so good and enjoyable. But no, I think vegetarianism need not be an absolute requirement for someone becoming a mitra. I mean, does anyone disagree with this, or does anyone feel it should or could be?
I think so.
Or give up meat and maybe just have fish, or maybe just have it 2 or 3 times a week or once a week. But there are degrees, obviously, because I've mentioned that some people in the order of vegans, but we're not all vegans. I'm not a vegan myself. But it's not again. It's like brahmacharya. It's not that you're either totally vegetarian and totally abstaining from taking life, or not. There's so many intermediate degrees. What about eggs? What about free-range eggs, etc., etc. But certainly people, just as people ought to be thinking about brahmacharya and moving in the direction of brahmacharya more and more, so they should be at least thinking about vegetarianism and moving in that direction, even though you can never be sure that you will never ever take any life of any kind. I think that's impossible.